Well, bro, I really appreciate you hopping on the Let's Talk About It podcast. Again, we're running it back. A few months earlier, I had you on and I was able to ask you some good questions. And so we're pretty much going to do the same thing. And if you want to start with kind of giving a quick intro on yourself.
Yeah, Cody Lucas. Grew up in Virginia in Fredericksburg. Went to Fredericksburg Christian. Then transferred my senior year to Riverbend. Left to play basketball at a small school in North Carolina my freshman year. Um, Transferred then to FAU, Florida Atlantic in Boca, down here in Florida. After that, ended up loving it here, staying after college. Had a friend, you know, long story short, that got me into insurance just by running into him a bunch. Like, hey, you got to try it. Like, just give it a shot. Kept telling him, no, I'm not going to do it. Eventually did. Ended up working for a company, then moving to another company, starting my own thing, to finally transitioning and opening up an agency with my now partner, Zach, to where we've scaled it over the last 7 years, here in South Florida.
And that's beautiful. And we're definitely going to get into that because I think, honestly, I don't know if I can say this, and let me know. I think you're like in the 30 for 30 club, right? Like that 30 under 30 kind of club. Would you say that?
We're doing well.
Yeah, man. No, it's all good, man. I think that's inspiring to me. And basically, I want to just, kind of put a highlight on that. It's like, hey, you are from Fredericksburg and you were able to, you know, start a business or go into business with somebody and grow it exponentially.
100%.
So it can be done. I think we're it's really valuable for kids to see people our age being successful in business, maybe not having like the perfect path to that success, but figuring out on the way.
100%.
So how would you describe your upbringing?
Um, I would say, I mean, like I had a very good upbringing, but
Yeah,
my family, it's like my family came from money. My grandparents in West Virginia kind of helped raise me a lot. My mom was essentially a single mom. My parents divorced when I was young. My dad later on passed my freshman year of high school, my real dad. So my mom had to make it happen. She was a manager at K Jewelers and some other jewelers in Pennsylvania, like Central PA. Um, she then got an opportunity to do real estate in Fredericksburg, and that's what caused us to move to Virginia from Pennsylvania. I think I was like 5, 6 years old at that time. We moved to Virginia. My mom took over as the manager of real estate at Fawn Lake. And that's what made us move to Virginia in the first place.
nice.
So seeing her hustle and
Yeah,
really like, grew up with not nothing, but she definitely didn't grow up with money,
mhm,
where she had to make it happen. And she was really the first person in our family that had become, to that level of success. And
yeah.
she did it all by herself while raising kids.
Wow.
So it was very impressive to see. Um, Met my stepdad. They're still together, been together, 25 plus years. Um, so, he was really like the father figure for me growing up, but my
Yeah,
mom was always the breadwinner. She was always the one making it happen. So I was fortunate enough to see that hustle,
yeah.
to make it happen and what it could provide. And then, we got to the benefit of that by, as we got a little bit older and 10, 11, 12 years old, she branched off from Fawn Lake, started doing her own thing, building her own team in real estate. And with that came, like more and more blessings from my parents as far as like me growing up in a way bigger house than I ever thought I would, and having, all these other things and being able to travel and, do things that, I think a lot of people can take for granted, but it was all product of my mom making it happen and, my upbringing watching that.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. I mean, that's key having that role model. I mean, definitely role model figure in your life where you're like, hey, uh, you see the hard work being put in, and so as you got older, I'm sure you're like, all right, if she can do it, I know I need to be putting in the same amount of hard work if I want to do
100%.
X, Y, and Z.
And it was never a 9 to 5, not that a 9 to 5's bad, but it was always like, she got out of it what she put in.
Yeah,
And being that it was in real estate, like she could work, 60, 80 hours one week, but she's going to see the fruits of her labor. It wasn't just, hey, she works 9 to 5 Monday through Friday. This is what she makes. And then like your life is so status quo that essentially, like, yeah, you get, let's say a raise every year or two, but you're really just getting a raise that goes along with inflation. So your lifestyle
Yeah.
doesn't change much versus my mom's, career path was much more whatever she put into it, she got out of it. And she put a lot into it, and luckily got a lot out of it. So being able to see that and see like, the people is everything. Who you surround yourself with is everything.
Yeah.
But being able to control your own destiny, and take that risk is
Mhm.
definitely worth it. And there's a lot of reward that comes with being able to succeed from taking that risk.
Awesome, man. Yeah, I agree with that. What daily habits or routines have contributed most to your success?
So, not necessarily a routine, but I think what I strive to do, and a lot of people would tell you that I do, is I stay in contact and I communicate a lot with people.
Yeah.
So I try to reach out to, a few people every day that maybe I haven't talked to in a month, 2 months, 3 months. Not for to like to ask them for anything, but just like, hey, how are you doing? Like, hope all
Right.
is well. Like, let's catch up soon, etc. So I think networking and
Yeah.
just staying in
Networking.
contact with people and always being that person that goes out of their way to reach out to people, not necessarily to ask for something.
Yeah.
And then also being extremely optimistic no matter the situation.
Yeah.
It's not really a daily habit, but just something I do on a daily basis, no matter what news, what email, what text message, what call I get. I try to
Mhm.
spin it in a positive way, or like what positives can I take out of this?
Yeah.
Even in what some people would call a problem, like what can I take away with this in a positive light? So I would say those two things are the biggest for me.
Yeah, man. And you really hit one on the head for me. It's like I've learned that if you're able to look at any situation and pull positive energy from it, or be grateful for that situation and see how you can learn from it, you're only going to grow as a person.
Yes, big time.
If
And it
you could,
also attracts other people when you're able to do that. Like it's an
oh, totally.
attractive quality and something that people want to associate with and be around
Yeah.
when they can be around someone that is able to look at the bright side of things
Yep.
versus someone that, is more negative or, looks at everything as a problem, or they get an email or a text or a call and they're like, "Oh man." Like those
Yeah.
are the people that, like you don't necessarily want to be around, and it's not a trait that you want to associate with, or something where you're like, man, I love to hang out with that guy. It's more so the
Right.
opposite, where you're like, man, I kind of can't stand being around that guy. He's always down, or there's always a problem, or he's always in drama, or whatever the case may be. So
Yeah. Yeah. 100%, man. If you could go back and give your younger self one piece of advice, what would it be?
for me, it wouldn't necessarily be business advice.
Mhm.
um it would more so be like taking habits and like health and things of that nature a lot more serious.
Yeah.
So one thing I think I always go back and think about are like my coaches in middle school and high school about like lifting weights and being in the gym and eating healthy, and even simple things from my parents like good posture and like little
Yeah.
things like that. It's amazing how it affects you as you get older, and it's so hard to break those habits that you've done your whole life.
Yeah.
Um, So if I could tell anything to my younger self, it's like, hey, your parents and your coaches and those people, they're telling you things over and over again for a reason. They're not just saying it for fun.
Right.
Um, and they really do go a long way, not only in that moment that they're telling you, but long term, because those same habits and things that you shape yourself out to be in your middle and high school years is usually what you end up becoming long term. It's very rare that someone completely changes the way they eat, the way they view the gym, the way they view their health.
Yeah.
Um, as you get older, you continue down those habits. And then, if you have a family and you have kids, that then translates to your own family. So, um, if I could go back, it would be taking that stuff a lot more serious.
Yeah. Yeah, man. Like for me, I would say the same, man. It's like a lot of times as being a kid playing sports, you hear people telling you what to do, but it's like you kind of want to do your own thing. But you got to remember that the people that care about you really have your best interests. And I think
100%.
we
Big time.
get caught up in this like just thinking we can do it our own way. And now that we're older, I still look back like, man, if I just would have listened to the two people that I would see every day, my coach and my parents, think, I might have been able to take control of my life earlier on instead of dealing with some things that really were just from bad habits.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. So how do you define success? And has that changed over the years?
No, I mean, I think for me, it's actually my senior year quote was the definition of success by John Wooden, um, which is really just success is, doing the best and knowing that you gave the best of all you can,
Yeah.
um, to hopefully achieve the greatest results. So I think success for everyone is different.
Yep.
It's more so, what makes you tick, what's your why, and have you done everything you possibly can to get there?
Yeah.
And if you have, and you've, even seen partially maybe seen that outcome a little bit, then I
Yeah.
think that that's the definition of success. People get caught up nowadays with social media, and success is, all the glamorous things and like the materialistic things and having a
Yeah.
bunch of money, but like that's, for me at least, it's not success. I've been able to, do things and buy things that I never dreamed I'd be able to in my entire life.
Yeah.
And I can tell you the feeling that you get from that is it's cool, right? Because you're like, man, I really like this or I want it. But it's definitely nothing in comparison to like setting a goal out of this year. We want our business to do X and we do it. And that's
Yeah.
like the greatest feeling ever. There's nothing that I could go buy to recreate that same feeling. So
Yeah.
I think success is putting something out there in front of yourself and really going after it and trying to achieve it and being able to do that. And then that's success.
Yeah, man. And like it's and you man, again, social media has created this space where it's like you're not success unless you have this car. You're not success unless you're able to travel here. And that's not necessarily all the end all be all. Everybody has to, like you said, find their why. How would you say if there's an 18-year-old out there right now, what helped you find your why?
I mean, I think for me it took a really long time,
Yeah.
to really think about like why do I want to do this outside of the money? And then once I started making a lot of money, then it's kind of when I found my why, which isn't traditional or necessarily the way it should go, but for me at least, I started having a lot of success.
Yeah.
Um, and then for me, it was more so like my legacy. Like
Yeah.
how can I do things that people don't think are possible or and maybe even in my business, like they view this person or this company as like the biggest and like everyone's like always going to be smaller or never really be able to duplicate what this company did, for example.
Yeah.
Um, and for me, it's always been like, how can I leave the biggest impact? Not only like within the company, but even other people that want to do similar things to what I was able to do and what we're doing right now.
Yeah.
And not really not accept staying where we're at, but always pushing to continue to grow and like push the limits.
Yeah.
For me, that's always been my why. Making my family proud. Um,
Sure.
Obviously being thankful to God for giving me all the opportunities and like I wouldn't be here, today or have the success I had if it wasn't for that and for my family and the support. But um being able to like leave a legacy, leave an impact, and show other people that it's possible for me is the biggest thing that pushes me. Like what's the next step? What's the next level? Like how far can I really go? Like I'm still young, 32 years old. Like what's the next 5 years, 10 years look like? And what type of impact can I really have? So
Yeah, not staying complacent, which
yeah,
can which happens to a lot of people. And I think, again, you're saying always striving for more. There's nothing wrong
yeah,
with striving for more. There's nothing wrong with wanting more for yourself. You just have to put in the work. It doesn't
yep,
just come to you.
yep.
What's a failure or setback that taught you the most?
Um, I would say in our first few years starting our business, the biggest thing was not learning everything for ourselves and like digging into it. We had a lot of failures and a lot of setback by just not being lazy, but you know, not necessarily digging into all types of like all aspects of our business and knowing it inside out. And maybe like, hey, we can get, you know, marketing help or HR help or whatever from here and just like let them handle it. Like it'll be fine, like let them handle it.
Ah,
Um,
yeah.
with doing that and taking not necessarily a shortcut, but just taking an easy way out in our business, we had a lot of failures and setback from that where just like things weren't working out, acquisition costs were too high, marketing spend was too high for what we were getting in return. Um, so for us, that was the biggest setback, but taught us a very valuable lesson, which is try and control, dictate, and understand every aspect of your business. And when you
Right.
have that control and insight, and you really can move levers because you understand it and can control it, you'll have a lot more success.
Yeah. So really, really diving into what you got going on. Of course, you're
Mm,
always going to outsource. You're gonna bring in maybe partnerships to help you out. But if you don't take the time to actually learn what they're doing, it'll be hard to control it and scale it.
exactly.
Is there a defining moment in your life that changed the way you see the world?
I mean, there's been a couple.
Yeah.
Um, for me, it was like losing my dad was like a huge one,
Yeah.
and getting over that. Then later on, losing my grandparents and just looking at life completely different.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
Different perspective for sure.
everyone loses family members, but I
Right.
think for me, it was just I looked at it as life's so short. And like
Yeah.
losing my dad was young, for example. My grandmother was the healthiest person ever, and then all of a sudden, stage 4 cancer.
Wow.
Um, so I think looking at life and taking it maybe a little less seriously,
Yeah.
like really hit me and became more like just have fun, like be laid back, like
Yeah.
why be stressed out? Like for what? Like what's that gonna do for you?
Right.
Um, those were huge for me, and I think shaped me out to be very laid back and like just take things a lot less serious. And then
Yeah.
also hitting a certain like point in our business where I made a certain amount of money that was always like a goal for me. And then realizing like, hey, you did it, but that high is over. Like what's next? And like what
Yeah.
really is money? Like what like is money a tool? Is money like something that brings you happiness? Is it about the time freedom, like those things? And then I really realized that like, hey, money's a tool to give you the freedom of time to be happier, stress free, be able to do bigger and better things, and literally look at the world and like opportunity completely different. Um, so between those things, that's the biggest events I'd say that shaped the way I think now.
Yeah, man, and you do a lot of traveling. I love watching like where you're at and when you
It's
post
probably
on
why I'm
social
sick right now.
media.
It weighs on you after a
So,
while.
probably, but I love seeing just the different places that you travel. Is there a specific place that that you have that that I guess help you become who you are, or maybe gave you a different perspective on just life in general?
Yeah, I mean, I've been lucky enough to travel a lot. I would say some of the countries in Asia I've been to really have the biggest impact on me because it's so different. Um, so different from our world and from the States or even Europe.
Yeah,
Um, just their mindset, their attitude, a lot of the smaller countries with how thankful they are and they have so little.
yeah,
Um, like how happy they are every day waking up to make, $2 an hour. Um, and share essentially a shack with their whole family and extended family, but like they're so happy because they're so connected with their family and thankful for opportunity, etc. Um,
yeah.
that's
Like the
the
level
coolest
of
thing about
gratitude.
traveling. Yeah,
Yeah,
the coolest thing about traveling is that every country's economy is so different.
yeah,
But yet, even in like the poorest or let's say the richest, you see a lot of people and like you really learn that happiness doesn't come from your financial situation, right?
yeah, yeah,
And I think that social media again really hurts people's mind says as it relates to happiness. If I don't have this, that, and the other, I can't be happy, right?
Right. Yeah.
Um, and almost like weighs on them over and over and over again to where they uh, um are very, like they feel like the world's against them versus
Yeah.
like, hey, the world's there as like your oyster, like take advantage of it. You have
Right.
way more than most people in the world. I've
Right.
personally seen it. They find happiness out of having 1/100th of what you have. Trust me, you can find happiness out of what you have. And then people will say, well, that's easy for you to say, but it's not. I've seen it firsthand, and
Right.
you really realize like what you have means nothing. You could sell all of it
Mhm.
as long as you have like your core, your family, your friends. You can really find happiness in everything. And I think that that's the thing that people need to self-reflect and think about more and more, which is
Yeah.
just like what makes you happy. Like when you do X, like what is it that like in what moment are you the happiness, and then like how can you get there more, you know
Yeah.
and for me it is traveling and seeing the world, and like I love traveling.
Yeah.
But if I couldn't, I mean, I don't think that that's the only thing that I could find happiness in. So it's like what can you find happiness in, and then how can you get yourself there more?
Yeah.
And
Beautiful,
is it
man.
time with your family? Is it time with your friends? Is it doing certain things? Is it having free
Yeah.
time? Is it, turning your phone off for 2 hours and doing, something? But like find that. And if you're not
Yeah.
happy, stop doing the same thing every single day, thinking that one day you're going to wake up and just be happy. It's not never going to happen.
I'm so glad you said that. It's like don't do something redundant that you don't like, you
Yeah,
know?
if you hate your job, you wake up
Yeah.
every day, you hate your job, you come home, you argue with, whoever it is you argue with, you think the world's against you, whatever, you got to take the risk and make a change. Get a new job, find a new career path, take the risk, move to a new city, take the risk, meet new friends, go to a new club,
Yeah.
uh, start playing a new sport, like whatever it is, just try a
Right.
bunch of things
Yeah.
because I can guarantee you that if you're not happy now, doing those things aren't going to make it any worse. It's only going to make it better. But
Right.
you can't continue to wake up and tell yourself that you're stuck
Right.
and keep on the same hamster wheel because it's not healthy and it'll never get you anywhere.
Yeah, because that's what it is, a hamster wheel, and literally you're your own science. I feel like everybody's their own science project, you know, and
100%.
you're either gonna try different variables or you're gonna stay the same, and literally just the unfortunately like sadness will just probably compound, and I've
Yep.
seen a lot of people fall into these dark holes of just not knowing what to do, but they haven't even done anything different, you know,
Yep.
over the years or months or whatever it may be.
Yeah.
So
Everyone, like, no two people's lives or stories are the same, will never be the same. Um, and you gotta like let it hit you one day when you wake up that like if you're not happy, go take the risk and change something. You don't have to change everything, you don't have to blow up your whole life, but change little things,
yeah.
try different things. So
Yeah, yeah. Try different habits. You know, if you've gone, well, let's just say like for instance, people our age, if you're 30 years old and you never tried waking up early in the morning, maybe try waking up in the morning. Like break those habits that you're so comfortable with doing.
exactly.
What's a topic people are afraid to talk about? You think, but should?
Mm, I think for guys it's their like emotional relationships with other guys. So
Yeah,
like being vulnerable with their friends as a male. I think males struggle a lot more with expressing themselves to their friends,
totally.
and feeling like they have to be like macho, or
Yeah,
that their life's perfect, or like that they're making a bunch of money and that they're doing all these great things instead of like being open about the things that they're not happy about in their life and the bad.
yeah.
Um, for males specifically, I think is a big one.
So how would you what would you recommend to anybody like that's struggling with that? Is that start with like reaching out to the people that maybe you're that they could be possibly like battling in their head with, maybe.
Yeah, I think it's overcoming the fear of maybe what your friends are gonna say back to whatever you want to share, but
Yeah.
understanding like they're your close friend or your best friend for a reason.
True that.
If there's anyone to go to, it should be them. I've never heard of a friend ever stop becoming someone's friend because they came to them with something that was bothering them. Like
Right.
I don't even think that exists. So like understanding that and saying like, hey, if I'm struggling with this, instead of holding it in, how can I go talk to Micah and say, hey, Micah, like, hey, I'm really struggling emotionally with wanting to do this for myself, but I can't make it happen, or
Right.
like my family's really weighing on me and I can't find a way to like spend time with them and like it be the way it used to be, or I haven't seen this person in a while and we fell out because of this, and
Right.
I don't want to be the first one that reaches out because they should say sorry to me, you know?
Hmm.
Like
Just being vulnerable.
little things like that, and like talking it through with people. I know there's a lot of people that have fallen out with each other, even family, friends, etc.
Yeah.
And it does no good for anyone. There's never a problem big enough worth like that you can't get over.
For sure.
So I think like being vulnerable and like being able to go to your closest friends and like talk through it, because at the end of the day, it's going to bring you so much more happiness and peace. Um, Whether the outcome gets worked out or not, but just being able to like express it and talk it and get it off your chest, goes a
Yeah.
long way.
Totally. Totally agree with that. How do you handle backlash or criticism when you speak your truth?
Man, it's hard. You just have to be extremely, extremely confident.
Yeah. Totally.
Um, I think realizing everyone's different, realizing people are always going to be jealous of what you have or don't have, and
Yeah.
everyone's perspective of everyone is going to be different. So like I could look at you one way, but like this guy could look at you completely different. Not because you're a different person, you're still the same person, but our view of you is different.
Right.
So I think being very confident in who you are, the decisions you make, and what you do,
Yeah.
if you can feel good at night with the way you live your life and the decisions you make, there's no reason to not be confident and be able to handle that type of like backlash or maybe comments people say, because it's at the end of the day, it's your life, and if they don't like
Right.
it, then it's not really your problem.
Yeah, totally, man. So having that belief in yourself is big. I I feel blessed to have that. I feel like I was born with that confidence. I think you have that confidence, but how can we help somebody who's maybe not have that confidence? Really, instill that in themselves.
um I mean, pushing them to be more so like who they really are and not what society or their friends wants them to be.
Yeah.
um Act the way you want to act, talk the way you want to act, or treat people the way you should treat them, which is hopefully the way you want to treat them. Dress the way you want to dress. You don't have to dress like your friend.
Right.
You don't have to have the same job as your friend or make the same type of money as your friend. If you want to be if you want to be a teacher, or you want to be an attorney, you want to be a doctor, do it. um so I think getting people to really like be themselves will bring out that confidence in them. The issue with people that aren't confident is at the end of the day, they're not really being themselves, or they don't feel comfortable in their own skin.
Yeah.
So it's really like get comfortable in your own skin and the rest kind of takes care of itself.
Yeah. Yeah. I totally agree with that. What's happening? There's a lot happening in the world right now, but what's happening in the world right now that you think we're not paying enough attention to?
Man, really, I try to stay away from news and like
Yeah.
politics as much as I can. Growing up where we grew up and like so many people working in DC and like being around that so much is
Yeah.
exhausting. Um, I mean, I couldn't really tell you. I know that there's a ton in the Middle East. There always has been, there always will be.
Yeah.
Um,
But I think you hit it on the head. It's like not getting wrapped up in that. You know?
yeah, I don't get wrapped up in it. Like if you ask me what's going on right now, I really couldn't tell you. Like I have no
Yeah.
idea. Um, the problem for me is that the news and the media always to get attention, and it's all at the end of the day for money. Like politically, what our country does is for money, what other countries do is for money, what the news does is for money. And when people realize that, I think you look at things a lot differently when you understand like there's a financial, like this is a business, like the news is a business. Like it's not like
Yeah.
they're just there to like report like an article because something happened. Like
Right.
they're doing it because at the end of the day, it's a business and they want viewership. um there's not enough positivity that comes, and
Right.
positivity doesn't bring viewers, and not bringing viewers is not bringing money, right? So it's not
Right.
going to happen. But I wish there was a world in which we could highlight more of the positives.
Yeah.
Um, Seeing the way like people in different countries have turned things around, seeing the way people have been able to like legally like become legal citizens of America from another country with bad upbringing and start a business and be wildly successful and pass that down to their kids and see stories like that where they do things the right way instead of
Yeah.
always seeing the bad. Um, I wish there was a world where we could see more of the positive instead of the news is
Right.
just negative after negative after negative and makes you almost think like the world's ending all the time when it's
Right. Right.
not, like when
Exactly.
it's not,
Not. Yeah.
like it's not.
Yeah.
So it's funny. I almost like when it comes to the news, like put myself in a bubble
Yeah.
to where like when things happen, the only reason I even know is like the financial impact or like the economy. Then I start like paying more attention and realizing like, hey, what's going on with like these investments or the economy, like
Yeah.
crypto, whatever it is, like, you know,
Right.
then I really understand it or look into it a little more. But yeah, I wish there was a way we could see more of the positives.
Yeah, man, because it's like the way the news just conveys all their messages. It's like they want your life. They want you to stop your life to just engage with what they're saying, and then it's gonna take you off in a space that doesn't bring any value to your life, you know.
Yeah.
And so yeah, you answered that
And then
great.
everyone becomes an expert. Like everyone thinks they're an
Yeah.
expert because the news
Yep.
told them this. And it's like, hey,
Yep.
like I don't know if you know this, but like the news isn't also 100% accurate.
Yeah.
They have a you know,
And
they have a
agenda.
reason and rhyme for their story. They have an agenda.
Yeah.
Um it just it's a tough place to be in when you start getting into politics or like following the news or getting wrapped up into it because
Yeah.
all you're going to do is argue with friends and family and debate people and go back and forth when at the end of the day, like, I'm sorry, but like you're not stopping a war and you're not stopping like what's going on in this country or that country. Like
Right.
unfortunately you don't have that power, so like why worry about it?
Right.
Like put more, if you could put that same effort and energy into yourself that you
Exactly.
put into politics or like the news, like you could probably go pretty far and
Yeah.
probably
But
make a lot of positive change not only in yourself but in the world. So it's interesting, but I try to stay out of it.
yeah, that's real, man. So being from Fredericksburg, were you born in Fredericksburg?
No, I was actually born in West Virginia where my grandparents
Yeah.
lived their entire life. When I was really young, lived in Pennsylvania. My mom worked there, so I lived in Pennsylvania until I was maybe five,
Mhm.
maybe like 5, 6 years old, and then moved to Fredericksburg.
Okay, so what would you say is the biggest like benefit of leaving your hometown?
Oh, just like seeing the world and what's out there. I think
Yeah.
like for me, like there's a ton of areas like this, but South Florida, for example, a lot of entrepreneurial type people, a
Mhm.
lot of business owners, a lot of opportunity, a lot of wealth, ton of wealth. Um, So growing up, like seeing a Lamborghini on like a music video or like in TV or in a movie, it's like, oh my gosh, that's a Lamborghini. But then when you come to Florida and you're around it so much, you're like, oh, it's just a Lamborghini. And then you tell yourself like, hey, that's real. Like you can really go into a store and really buy that. Like it's
Right.
not a movie. That's
It's
like
attainable.
real. That's like really tangible. Like I could work, I could build a business, I could create wealth or income, and I could go buy that. Like a lot of people
Yeah.
buy that. It's not just celebrities or athletes and actors, but it's regular guys with regular businesses that do extremely well, that have those
Yeah.
cars and that have those houses or have those boats, and you start like changing the way you think.
Right.
Versus, I think the toughest part about Fredericksburg is there's definitely people with wealth and with money in Fredericksburg. It's just a lot different. It's a lot more rare to see.
Yeah.
So you think like, oh, only like only those guys, only like the top, 0.5% of the 1% are going to be able to go
Yeah.
buy that and do that. Like, who am I? Like, like I'm here. Like, why do I think I could ever get there? So
Mhm.
getting out of your hometown if you don't think it's like showing you a ton of opportunity
Mm.
or motivating you to get to the next level, I think is huge. Was very big for me. Very big for me. Like I would never be where I am today if it wasn't for like getting out of my shell and moving somewhere with a ton of opportunity. And it doesn't have to be South Florida. It can be Dallas, it could be, California, it could be DC, even New York City. Like just getting somewhere, like being around a ton of opportunity, being around a ton of um affluent people, successful people. And that's like speaking if you do want to make money and like make a lot of money or have a bunch of opportunity as it relates to business, being somewhere
Yeah.
with a lot of that is naturally going to benefit you. Like being somewhere like New York City where everyone is hustling, everyone's trying to make it to the next level, everyone's competing to change their life and to create wealth. That's going to do a lot for your mindset and put you in that same mindset of like, hey, what can I do? Or hey, now I have the opportunity to be just like that guy. Like that guy's my neighbor. Why can't I do what he's doing? Like I see that every single day. Why can't I do it? So
Yeah, like if you don't see your vision coming together in your hometown, then there's nothing wrong with finding an area that fits, your beliefs and what you want to do
yeah.
better.
And I think like people should move around more often, especially when they're young.
Yeah,
I don't think people take those risks enough of like go live in New York City, sign a 1 year lease, you
right.
know, go
You
live
have,
in New Jersey across the bridge if it's too expensive, sign a 1 year lease. Go live in, Washington, DC,
yeah,
Arlington, go live in Miami, go live in Palm Beach, go live in Arizona, like go live in Dallas, go live in Houston. Um,
yeah. When I think of you only live once, that's what comes to mind. It's like move around. Like,
yeah,
you were already put on this earth with your qualities, but when you move around and find different people, that's how you're able to really grow and kind of maximize your potential.
for sure.
Man, I really appreciate your time. We'll end it off with this question. What's next for you, and what are you currently working toward?
For me personally, it's still growing. Continuing to realize how I was raised and what's important with keeping God first, keeping my family close, making sure that I'm always happy no matter what.
Yeah,
Not letting other things cloud that from really what I know will make me happy. And then as far as business goes, it's for us, it's taking our business to the next level. We've grown tremendously. Um, whether it's an exit or whether it's partnering with a bigger company to maybe come in and create a bigger platform for people in the insurance space